The thing is that I almost wasted the session. Is it normal?
Monday, June 15th, 2020. Back to Mugello. Third test of the season on this wonderful track, and we still have a lot of work to do on the bike and the electronics. The idea today is to improve the bike and then put the Metzeler KX super soft tire in the afternoon to try to make the fastest lap and make a 1:55.
So I'm back here at Mugello with the R1, and today we will finish the work, I hope, that we didn't finish last time. Last time we fixed the traction control and the setup, but we didn't work on the engine brake. So today we will work on the engine brake. It's too loud here. Okay, so we're gonna work on the engine brake. How does it work? On the dashboard you had 3 settings, which are 1, 2 and 3. But those settings are not maps. I mean, you cannot configure them. What you can do is you can configure the map of the engine brake, and with those values you can just offset it. So you create the map and you just say more or less of that map. The thing is that even last time when I did 156, the engine brake was not working properly. The thing is that every time I enter the corner with a bit of brake, or I close the throttle and boom, go into the corner, bike starts to wiggle. And that comes from the rear. It means maybe too much engine brake. In the mid corner it's fine, and the braking is fine. So I went from 2 to 3, which is less engine brake, and in braking the bike doesn't stop. In cornering it works good, and in the mid corner it doesn't turn. So this means that we have to work on the map, because in some parts of the riding the engine brake is good, while some other is not good. And how do you work on the map? You can say for every gear, for every range of RPMs, how much engine brake you want. So for instance, if we see that I am cornering at between 10,000 to 7,000 RPM, it means I need less engine brake in that area. So this is an example. So today, engine brake. Allora, dai dati sembrerebbe che non sia il freno motore che mi rompe le balle quando faccio il cambio di direzione, ma tu dici un discorso di ciclistica?
Sì, in questo momento siamo un po' scarichi dietro e di conseguenza quando fai quel movimento lì stai un po' galleggiando e la moto non ti segue. Quindi adesso proviamo ad abbassarci un pelo e vediamo se miglioriamo.
Ma quindi tu dici che è alta dietro, no? Quindi quando tu fai il cambio di direzione, essendo alta, il posteriore va un po' dove...
Sì, sembra dai dati che faccia questo movimento qua.
Ok, quindi proviamo ad abbassarla.
Sì.
Di quanto?
2 mm.
Ok, so with the chiave inglese, in inglese come si dice? Okay, so with that tool that I don't remember the name, he lowered the bike, okay, and now look at this. He put this so that now the wheel is free to move up and down. He did that to reset the sensor's position, because now that we changed the height of the bike, the telemetry must know that we changed the height. So we needed to reset, we needed to zero the height position, the rear shock absorber position sensor. strana che mi sono fermato e mi sono paura. Sono entrato alla lungo, a sinistra, ho sentito l'anteriore e invece mi sono vuoto.
E anche con i due passaggi che hai fatto lì è frenata, fredda, è fredda.
Fredda?
Insomma,
So they stopped me to check the noise because you know that there are some noise limits here in the racetracks. You cannot have a too loud motorbike because if it's too loud you have to put the dB killer. Okay, so when I went back in, the change that we made on the rear, it actually helped me a lot because now when I change direction I feel much less wiggling. Okay, so that issue that I thought came from the engine brake, maybe it came from the geometry of the bike, because if the rear is too light, when you change direction, it shakes. The thing is that I almost wasted the session because there was traffic and then I went back in, and then there was traffic, then I went back in. And what happened is that in the first left corner, after one entire lap of warming up, I felt the front closing a little bit. And I said, oh my God, what's going on? So I went back in and they told me, you have the cold tire. So today it's cold, it's like 18, 20 degrees, it's cloudy. And I didn't think that the tire could get that cold and that it takes more than one lap to warm it up again. I need to think about it, but I should say that Messler is really a great tire because I felt the front losing a little bit. The tire told me, hey, look, I have no grip, and that's great. Because maybe with some other tires I wouldn't have felt it and I would have crashed, who knows. So now we changed the rear, we put the one that I used last time with 5 laps on it, and in the next session we will see if everything is fine. Yeah, the front tire needs to be changed, definitely. I did like 50 laps on that tire, but I'm happy because I did 58.1 now, 1 second slower than my best lap time. With that front tire, it's good, and with a 10 laps use the rear tire, it's good. With one overtake also, it's good. Aspetta, qui ci attacchi poi la parte dove parlo con Patrick del freno motore. So yeah, the thing is that in the previous test, we saw that the engine brake and the clutch were fighting each other, okay? The rear tire was not behaving properly in braking, downshifting, cornering, and that was due to the fact that the engine brake, I don't know, we couldn't make the engine brake work properly with the clutch. So we went for a racing clutch, not the street one, but a racing one, and we saw that things changed. It worked better, and that's good. The bad thing is that when I stopped, they lifted the bike about 1 millimeter to find a midway between the previous setup and this setup, but I didn't feel any differences. I didn't feel improvement, okay? Maybe that was due to the tire, I don't know. So the thing is that now we have another session, and then we have the pareggiamento at the end of the day, which is a race simulation. And I'm not sure whether I should put the X tire, which is the fastest one, on the pareggiamento or not. Because the thing is that, you know, when you're racing, it's not like the World Championship where you don't have unlimited tires, but you have a big budget. So I have to deal with limited budget. So should I use that tire, which is one shot today, considering that the forecast is not that good, so it might rain, and if I put in the tire blankets, I warm it up and it rains and I don't use it, it loses performance. So you always have to think, okay, how many tires do I have? Should I use it now or later? Should I keep it for a race or not? Yeah, that's a big deal. That was scary, really. That was dangerous. So the thing is, don't look at the green line. This is the part of Mugello. We have Materassi, Borgo San Lorenzo, and then we have Casanova Savelli. I don't know if you know it, but in Mugello, here we are in the middle of the circuit. You have a shortcut here where you can go back to the pit lane, so you don't have to do the whole lap. This is clever. So what happened? The guy in front with the red line did these corners normally, exited at maximum speed, and I was behind, so I was faster, so I approached him in the inside, trying to overtake him in the next corner. This guy at some point decided to go back to the pit lane, so in the middle of the straight, at full throttle, boom, it changed direction. And this is one of the most dangerous things you can do. Because, like it happened, if there's someone behind that is trying to overtake you, and you change direction like this without looking back, you crash. So what's the right thing to do? The green line. If you decided to go back to the pit lane, you do this corner normally, and at this point, you do not exit flat, going to the left and then going back to the right. But you stay on the right. You slow down a little bit and you stay on the right. So you keep right, and then you go back to the pit lane. This way, the bikes behind you understand that you're slowing down to going back to the pit lane, and what do? They just do this corner flat, go wide, and pass you without even losing time. So these things are explained in the briefing if you go to Mugello. I know the briefing is boring. I know it looks like it's a loss of time, but it's important because these things are explained there. And the thing is that in my life, I've seen people either ended up on a wheelchair or dying because of accident like this one. These are the most dangerous accidents that can happen because they are unpredictable. So every time you need to exit the pit lane or enter the pit lane, do not change direction at the last moment, but prepare it some corner before, so that the riders behind you can understand that you are going back to the pit lane.
Oh, allora, ho cambiato mappa solo qui e ho fatto mezzo giro di rientro. Si muove troppo.
Muove?
Sì. con questa mappa per quelle 5 curve che ho fatto sembrava andasse meglio col freno motore. Come eravamo messi, con la gomma che va un po' giù, cazzo è un incubo andare forte.
Si muove.
Perché te ti butti dentro, senti la moto che inizia a muovere, io non mi fido a forzare.
Ma adesso c'è già il pareggiamento?
Sì, il prossimo turno per
Pareggiamento. Vuoi farlo con la 0 piuttosto che con la X? Per non bruciarlo, dico io. Ah,
È
per
solo
vedere
che se
cosa
poi
va.
piove non corriamo? Can I swear? I already told it, but 2 months at home in lockdown with the sun, and now every single fucking day it rains. Is it normal? Thank you so much. I've put the super soft tire, the KX, to try it out to see what I could do with that tire, but thank you. We're going back home, so we will see in the race what I'll be able to do. Now we won't came here anymore because we will go to Misano, because the first race is gonna be in Misano. So in 2 weeks, test in Misano. In 1 month, race in Misano, and thank you so much.